In a world like today, it's a rare occasion to be able to see young mothers like the ones that were around when I grew up. But they live on in memory to quite a few of us. And this song is dedicated to those who cherish that memory. Early one Sunday morning, breakfast was on the table. There was no time.
Peace and blessings, family. Or rather, shalom, shalom. Or rather, shalom. Before we get into this sermon here today, I'd like to say I love you, brothers, and I love you, sisters, that's scattered all throughout the earth. We think it's something weak and whack to be affectionate to each other. But love is the key component to the foundation of our customs. This is the missing link. St. John chapter 15, verse 9. Continue ye in my love. You see, the Most High loves, and the Most High hates too as well. But today we're not talking about the Most High's hatred. So the real true brothers and the real true sisters, they need to come together. And I want to dedicate this video here today to the sisters of our nation and the sisters, sons, and daughters. And like it states in the book of Isaiah chapter 1 verse 5, it states how the whole head is sick and the whole heart faint. And we are one big sick nation. I'm not saying this to put anybody down, but we are sick. So how does the Most High tells us to spiritually heal a sick person? Do you punch him in the face? Do you kick him in the behind? Do you spit on them? Do you slap them in the face? Do you curse them out? Do you tell a woman that was raped and molested when she was 13 and 14 years old, you're a hoe, you're a hoe, you're a whore, you're a hoe, you're gonna die? Do you tell a little boy that's been sodomized against his will, you faggot, I can't wait to get that power to kill you? The Most High is in total disagreement with that type of attitude. We all are suffering in some shape, form, or fashion, whether physically, spiritually, or financially. Like it states in the book of Matthew chapter 9, verse 12. They that be whole need not a physician. So Matthew 9 and 12 speaks about a physician. And the physician is a healer. A lot of us have been raped against our will. A lot of our daughters have been raped at a very young age. A lot of our sons have been sodomized at a very young age. A lot of us grew up with no father figure, in the house in our childhood days, and I commend you women. You did a very good job as a single parent for those that held on to their integrity. A lot of us are still suffering psychologically, in the DNA from past slavery. A lot of us have been tossed from this foster care to that foster care and still is suffering from that psychologically. A lot of us don't even know what it feels like to be loved anymore for sure. And I have to be honest, I don't even know what real true love is anymore for sure. Not saying that I don't have any affection within. But the Almighty Father, thanks to Him and the King, He's helping us to find our way and to recover from this sickness. So we dedicate this to you sisters. We love you sisters. We want you sisters to hang on. We want you sisters to be strong. There are a few sisters that are still around internationally holding on to their integrity. And pertaining to the negative sisters, we pray for those sisters. Hopefully those sisters wake up and smell the coffee, even though you and I know that most of the sisters and the men of our nation is not going to wake up. Like it says in 2 Ezra chapter 8, verse 1. And it states this, and he answered me, saying, the Most High have made this world for many, but the world to come for a few. Third verse, there be many called, but few shall be saved. So the women of our nation are important. So the women of our nation do have a part in the government administration of the Most High. And there's much more to a real woman than just the kitchen and the bedroom. And your little daughters, who shall be a woman one day as well. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 25. Marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter. But give her to a man of understanding. Give her to a man of understanding. So as we continue to analyze the droughts that are exploding in the Midwest, as we continue to analyze the intensity of the tornado winds that are ripping through town, as we continue to analyze all the problems that are exploding all over this earth, we need to be gravitating and graduating to a much more higher frequency. Remember the conversation in Matthew chapter 9 verse 12, which the Son of Man speaks about a physician, which a physician is a spiritual healer and a comforter. Also concerning the other women of the other nations and the men, even though this sermon is dedicated to the sisters of our nation, this goes for you as well, because eventually the Most High is going to bring a fraction of the women of the other nations along as well. Just like it states in the book of Romans chapter 8 verse 19, for the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of the Most High. And when you're talking about creature, you're talking about creation with no limitation. But of course, when you're talking about the kingdom of the Most High, you're talking about a government administration where our nation and the other nation are going to have a different department. They're going to have a different position in the government body, just like in any other different kingdom. So this is about intelligence, knowledge, and understanding. But of course, we got to get our act together before we could even begin to talk about anybody else. So in these times that we live in, we need to come together on these type of common grounds. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4:18, wherefore comfort one another with these words. When someone is comforting somebody else, they're dealing with compassion, sympathy, integrity, understanding, and concern, and charity. There was a sister by the name of Tabitha, recorded in the book of Acts, chapter 9, verse 36. She was a disciple of the Most High. She lived near, an area called Joppa on the coast of Palestine. The report that was given about her, she was a woman of good works. She was a woman of integrity. She gave alms. She was kind. She was affectionate. She was compassionate. She was a loving, caring sister. She used to take consideration and concern for the unfortunate one, like it states in the book of Acts, chapter 9, 36. Now there was at Joppa, which is on the coast of Palestine, a woman, a disciple, because the Most High had female disciples as well. A disciple is another word for student. Named in Aramaic, Tabitha, which in Greek means Dorcas, or in English, gazelle. She was abounding in good deeds and acts of charity. And eventually, our sister Tabitha, she became real sick and she died and she passed away. And the Most High sent Peter to resurrect her. The Almighty Father took Tabitha away temporarily in her sickness and resurrected her back to life to increase our faith and to show His power and to build our confidence, male and female. Tabitha was an honorable woman. She was a woman of good works. She was a woman of integrity. She was a woman of charity. She was a woman of compassion and concern and consideration. And she deserves respect and honor. And the Most High have written her in the book of life. We love you, Sister Tabitha. This is what we need. This is the strength and the power that we need to help us to carry on in the battle. Like it states in the book of Galatians chapter 5:13, for brethren, ye have been called unto liberty. Only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh, but by love serve one another. By love serve one another. By love serve one another. So we're supposed to be serving each other like a restaurant waitress. That's what time it is. Like it states in Romans chapter 13 verse 11, and that knowing the time. It's an emergency. That's what time it is for us to become brothers and sisters in duties and deeds. Just like Galatians chapter 5 verse 13 is telling us. Ain't no priests, ain't no generals, ain't no kings of our nation no longer on this earth here today. The Most High have stripped us from all these titles for those that are still living that illusion. And the Most High has broken us down to this lower state to become brothers and sisters again, to serve each other and not just quote this scripture and that scripture. The Most High did not call us to stand on the street corner to beat white people down with the Bible that have been shafted by their own people. The Almighty Father is not calling us to tell us to stand on the corner to yell, "Christ is a black man," all day and all night long. There's much more meaning to this situation than that. You see, there are some serious internal and external situation that needs some serious attention. Like if a brother or sister house go into foreclosure, who got his back? Or if a brother or a sister or a child needs some food, who got their back? Or if a brother or sister or a child needs some strength or encouragement or some real wise counsel or wisdom, who got their back? So the focus and the aim is recorded in Galatians chapter 5:13. But by love serve one another. But by love serve one another. Like it says in Philippians chapter 2 verse 5, let this mind be in you. Let this mindset be in us. For this is the correct mindset of transformation, and not what's recorded in Philippians chapter 2 verse 3. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory. What is vainglory? Like using Isaiah the 49th chapter and the 23rd verse to get somebody to lick our boots. That's vainglory. That is vainglory. Because that is not what this calling is about. That is not the focus. That's not the aim. That's not the mission. This is not what the 12 disciples were sent to do. That is not the correct mindset that the Almighty Father wants us to be in at this present time. Isaiah chapter 49 verse 22 on down is totally taken out of context. Hebrews chapter 10 verse 23 also gives us the correct mindset that we need to be into. Provoke each other to love. Verse 24, consider each other, but returning back to you sisters for strength and encouragement. Returning back to the righteous role models of our past ancestors, of the women of our nations. Like it says in Deuteronomy chapter 32 verse 7, remember the days of old, such as our ancestor sister Deborah, that's recorded in the book of Judges chapter 4 verse 4. When the men of our nation became so weak, she had to step up to the plate. There were female prophetess in ancient times of our nation, like Deborah. And these few female prophetess, they knew their place, they knew their position, they knew their role of a woman, and they knew the role of a man. So we don't have to go into those issues. And they were dealing with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And they were not trying to challenge a man or conflict with a man or fight with a man, because it's not about competition. It's about us coming together like a team, okay, to succeed. Just like the female lion knows her place, just like the male lion knows his place. Just like the male bull knows his place, just like the female cow knows her place. Just like the male rooster knows his place, just like the female hens know their place. And they're not in competition, okay, striving and fighting, okay, against the rooster. Like it says in Exodus chapter 15, verse 20. Then Miriam, the prophetess. You see, Miriam, she was a prophetess. She was a prophetess. So what did Miriam prophesy, being that she was a prophetess? Miriam, she prophesied the coming of the birth of her brother Moses, which is recorded in the scrolls of Jasher. Let's read it. And it was at that time that the Spirit of the Most High was upon Miriam, the daughter of Amram, the sister of Aaron. And she went forth and prophesied about the house, saying, behold, a son will be born unto us from my father and mother in this time, and he will save Israel from the hands of Egypt. As we just read concerning Miriam the prophetess, it tells you in the scroll of Jasher that the Spirit of the Most High was upon her. And the Most High didn't put that Spirit upon her to challenge men, but to do what the Most High called her to do. Predict the coming of Moses. You see, we had some honorable sisters And it was nothing like what it is today when we were in our right frame of mind in ancient times. Not to say there wasn't any problems that occurred in ancient times. You see, where you have the woman taking the man, okay, to the courthouse, or the man and the woman is fighting against each other like cats and dogs. It's not about the man and woman being in competition against each other. It's about the man being the man that the Most High want him to be, and the woman being the woman that the Most High want her to be. Like it says in 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. Likewise, ye husband, dwell with them accordingly to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife. So we want to give honor and respect to these sisters here today. Yeah, Miriam, like I said before, she got out of line, and the Most High had to put her back in line. Also, we want to honor and respect our sister Harriet Tubman for her courage and her honor and her respect and her concern and consideration. How she sacrificed her life and she jeopardized her life for the welfare of brethren and sisterin. Like it says in the book of Psalms, chapter 14, verse 4. He, the Most High, he honoreth them that fear the Most High. And Harriet Tubman, she had respect for the Almighty Father, Creator. She may not have been a perfect woman, but she did respect the Almighty Father. And she had some kind of love and affection for the brothers and the sisters. May the Almighty Father bless this sister's soul. And also our ancient ancestor, Adam and Eve. And it doesn't matter what all the other liars have to say, okay, such as saying Adam and Eve never existed, as well as Ray Hagen's. They're going to find themselves to be fools because there's enough archaeology evidence to bury them for 1,000 years. The cuneiform tablets, the scrolls, the inscriptions on the walls, on the church, okay, in the region of Euphrates, known as Darius Europas, and also the Elba tablets, which speaks about Adam and Eve, and many more. They all going to be ashamed. But Adam and Eve, Sister Eve, she did repent, as well as Brother Adam. And also, ain't none of us innocent. Everybody is guilty on this earth. All have sinned and come short of the glory. So we want to remember Sister Eve as well. She made a mistake and Adam made a mistake, just like many of us have made many mistakes before the Most High brought us to the arrival of our mental resurrection. So in the scrolls of Adam and Eve, which they found in the Judean desert, which Constantine and those wicked bishops oppressed, chapter 23, verse 9, it states this. Then Adam and Eve, like a team, they stood under the altar, and they wept, they cried, because they were sorry and remorseful for going against the rules and regulations that the Most High gave Adam and Eve to live by. So they wept thus, entreating the Most High, inquiring to the Most High, conversating with the Most High, asking the Most High to forgive us of our trespass, of our disrespect against your rules and regulations and our sins, and look upon us. Some of us need to weep, okay, with a remorseful spirit and entreat the Most High and ask the Most High to forgive us for all the ugly, wicked things that we have done against each other while living in the flesh, and turn over to a new leaf. Like it says in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 26 and verse 2, a virtuous woman. See, it speaks about a virtuous woman. And this is for the women who are spiritual, and those that are not spiritual, this is for you as well. Hopefully this will have some type of impact over the mind of the sisters of our nation here today in this 21st century. Because we're driving down a crash course the way some of us are living and thinking. And at the end of the road, there's a grand reaper. So we need this empowerment for the Most High. So we got to detox this toxicity attitude so the Most High can hear us. Because we need to be talking to the Most High. There's some things we need to be asking the Most High. We need the Most High assistance, sister. We need the Most High's protection. We need the Most High's angelic guardians to come down and help us out with these situations and circumstances, because ain't no man and woman can do this on their own. Like it says in the scrolls of Enoch, chapter 100, verse 5. And over the righteous and holy, he will appoint guardians from among the holy angels to guard them as the apple of an eye. You see, that's what we need. We need the Most High to send down the guardians. We need the Most High to protect us. Ain't no man can protect us. So the Most High is waiting for us. He's waiting for us to connect in the right frequency. He's waiting for us to reconnect, okay, in the right vibration. He's waiting for us to take on this example that I just gave you with Adam and Eve, how they came together collectively like a team, and they acknowledged that they both have erred, and they began to cry to the Most High to have mercy upon them. This is the attitude that we need to take in this journey. And we don't need, for the sisters, we don't need to be posting up no foolish, no vain comments, giving another sister a hard time because she want to cover her head as if that's something wicked. That's total insanity. That's foolish. It's stupid. It's unprofitable, and it's powerless, and it's very non-beneficial to be even entertaining those type of thoughts on Facebook. Like it says in the book of Matthew chapter 9:33, and when the devil was cast out, the dumb spake, and that's a dumb spirit. Total ignorance to be wasting time to be posting up some foolishness like that on Facebook. Look at what's going on in the Midwest, East Coast. Many people are suffering from extreme heat, storm, floods, wildfires in Colorado and Minnesota. I mean, look at July the 9th, the outbreak of the wildfires that hit Colorado. 30,000 people had to flee from their homes in Colorado, causing 110 million in damage. These type of situations and circumstances is supposed to make us wise up and give us a change of mind. Also for July the 2nd, 2012, 350 homes, it probably was much more than that, were burnt down to the ground. Some of us got to have some kind of sense, like it says in Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. And this is what the Most High is telling us. Okay, for the truth seekers, gather yourself together, yeah, O nation not desire. Gather yourself together, oh yeah, nation not desire. Instead of wasting time on Facebook condemning a sister because she want to cover her head. Instead of wasting time making a video talking about the only people that's going to get salvation is the so-called Negroes, Jamaican, and the Haitians. The brothers and sisters from North, Central, and South America and the Native American Indians, you're saying, some people are saying that they're not going to get no salvation. The Most High save who he want to save. We're acting as if we're the Most High creator of the universe, like we're the judge, the jury, and the executioner. This is foolishness. This is simplicity. It's a waste of time, and it's not going to lead to anything. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Like it says in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 6, this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. Like it states in 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 11, seeing then all these things, what things? 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 19, behold famine and plagues and tribulation. Like it says in 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 11, see then that all these things, what things? 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 12, the earth quaketh, and the foundation thereof, and the sea ariseth up with waves. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 11, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person ought ye to be, in all holy conversation and godliness, like the godly talk that's recorded in Zephaniah 2 and 1. Gather yourself, yeah, together, O nation not desire, before the decree come forth, before the day pass as a shaft, before the fierce anger of the Most High come upon you, before the day of the Most High's anger come upon us. That's what the Most High have to tell us. Here's another situation. For July the 9th, this sister who lives in Pittsburgh, she had to be taken out on a stretcher after being affected by the heat. Reflecting back on Paul and Barnabas' time concerning the situation that occurred in Acts chapter 11, verse 28 to verse 30, there was this prophet by the name of Agabus. And he forewarned the brothers and sisters in their time about the great dearth to come. The word dearth represents famine. Let's analyze how they dealt with this situation. Acts chapter 11 verse 28. And there stood up one of them, named Agabus, who was a prophet, and signified by the Spirit that there should be a great dearth, which represent a famine, throughout all the world, which came to pass in the days of Claudius Caesar. Then the disciples, every man accordingly to his ability, determined to send relief unto the brethren which dwell in Judea. Now they were coming from Antioch, which is located in Syria. 30th verse. Which also they did, and sent it to the elders by the hands of Barnabas and Saul. So here we have a situation where there's a famine about to occur in Jerusalem, and the Most High shows it to this prophet by the name of Agabus. He advises the brothers down, or rather they become aware of this situation in Antioch. They begin to store up certain resources for the brothers in Jerusalem. I think it took them about a year, and then Barnabas and Paul, they traveled down from Antioch down to Jerusalem, and they began to assist the brothers and the sisters in their need with the resources that they accumulated by the grace of the Almighty Father. There's another situation in Romans the 15th chapter in the 25th verse, which states, "But now I go unto Jerusalem to minister." When you're ministering to someone, it means you're serving them. "I go to Jerusalem to minister unto the saints," to the brothers and the sisters. 26th verse. "For it had pleased them of Macedonia and Achaia to make a certain contribution for the poor saints which are at Jerusalem." Sounds like pretty much the same situation. You see, this is what the Most High is talking about, and this is what makes the Most High happy and pleased with us. Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 16. "They that fear, meaning respect the Most High, will seek that which is well pleasing unto him," just like Enoch. That's why Enoch was so beloved. That's why the Most High was so well pleased with Enoch. Like it says in Ecclesiastes chapter 44:16, Enoch pleased the Most High and was translated being an example of repentance to all generation. The Most High was so well pleased with brother Enoch. The Most High translated Enoch. The Most High took him up, and the Most High gave him an immortality body, and the Most High did not let Enoch taste death, of the flood. The Most High took him out of here before he brought judgment on the earth. And Enoch is a perfect example of manhood and righteousness and charity and the way we supposed to be. Here's an example from the scrolls of Enoch. Our honorable brother Enoch, he instructs his sons that they hide not the treasures in the earth, but bid them to give alms to the poor. He told them to stretch out your hands to the poor accordingly to your strength. In other words, accordingly to your capability of what you can afford. Enoch, he also instructs his sons before he makes his final translation. Hide not your silver in the earth. Help the faithful man in affliction, and affliction will not find you in the time of your trouble. Also, Ecclesiastes chapter 3:30 supports this matter. It states that alms make the atonement for sins. And at the same time, this is what's happening to us. The Most High charges up our spirit when we connect into this type of frequency. And 1 Corinthians chapter 16 verse 18 speaks about the boomerang effect. "For they have refreshing my spirit." So now our spirit is being refreshed, charged. You're feeling certain energies and vibrations, and you feel real good within. "For they have refreshing my spirit." And you're refreshing another brother and sister spirit when we tap into this frequency, which is a good thing. "For they have refreshing my spirit and yours. Therefore acknowledge ye them." So when we send out this type of frequency and energy towards one another, the Most High, he responds back to us with this type of frequency and energy of positivity. Let us continue. "And every grievous and cruel yoke that come upon you, bear all." That's why it says, "Endure hardness like a good soldier for the sake of the Most High, and thus you will find your reward in the day of judgment." Accordingly to the Most High's will in due process. Numbers chapter 23 verse 19. The Most High is not a man that he should lie. See, the Most High don't tell lies. neither the Son of Man that he should repent. Have he said, and shall he not do it? Or have he spoken, and shall he not make it good? You see, that's strength. That's encouragement. Okay, that's stimulation. That's motivation. Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse 15. Nothing do countervail, meaning to compare, a faithful friend. And the Most High is faithful. The Most High is not unfaithful. He's faithful. He's loyal. We're the one that's not faithful. Nothing countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. A faithful friend is the medicine of life. You see, this is a form of medicine. This is healing. This is strength. This is power. But like Ezekiel chapter 37 states, verse 3, can these bones live? Like it says in Ezekiel chapter 37 verse 5, thus says the Most High, unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. And this is that breath. This is that breath. But like it states in the book of Hebrews chapter 3:13, but exhort one another, uplift, encourage, strengthen one another daily, while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sins. We got a whole lot of that going on, but shame shall cover their face in the end. Deuteronomy 32:7. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Like the generation of our sister here called Perpetua. She was an honorable sister. She was a loyal sister. She was a virtuous woman. She was 22 years of age. Yes, like I said before, our sister Perpetua. She was from one of the leading families of Carthage, which is located in northern Africa. She was 22 years of age at the time of her martyr. Sister Perpetua, she was killed, she was martyred under the rulership, persecution of Septimus Severus, who was very evil and wicked. She was a young sister. She was a royal sister. She was an honorable sister. She used to live in northern Africa. She was arrested with other brethren. Perpetua was a young married noble woman of 22 who was arrested along with other brothers in northern Africa. A few months after giving birth to a son, Perpetua's husband and her pregnant slave Felicity was arrested with her by the commanding orders of satanic wicked pagan Septimus Severus in 202 AD, because she refused to bow down to his orders and to denounce her customs and conform to the ways of his wicked, evil, pagan wicked ways. She refused the constant pleading of her aged father to renounce her faith, her customs. She nursed her sons, is said to have experienced a number of visions, and the Most High showed her different various visions, such as the Most High showed her a vision of the future kingdom, like it says in Acts chapter 2 verse 17, how the Most High was going to pour his spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and daughters shall dream dreams. And she was baptized while awaiting the start of the game. Now this game is talking about the amphitheater arena, where the other brothers that was arrested along with Perpetua and Felicity or Felicitas, and she was pregnant. Perpetua, she had gave birth to her child before they was arrested. A couple of months before she was arrested, you see. And the men, the brothers that was arrested with her, when she was baptized, they were thrown into the amphitheater to die, to be tormented, and to be martyred by animals. And eventually the other woman, Felicitas. Now, for understanding's sake, the Carthaginians are not Hamitic or African descent. The Carthaginian, if you study it correctly, they are descendants of the bloodline of Adam. There's another sister to be remembered, and her name was Maxima. And this is where they got the idea to name the Maximum car from. She was a slave and a friend of Saint. This is another saint by the name of Ansanus of Saina. She was martyred by being beaten to death in the persecution of Diocletian at Rome, the holy martyr Maximum, who confessed the King of Kings with Saint Anasanas in the persecution of Diocletian and yield up her soul while being beaten with rods. Diocletian was a wicked dude, man. And this is what our ancestors suffered. It wasn't only the men, and it also was children too. And the reason why Sister Maximum was killed by wicked satanic Diocletian, because Diocletian wanted Maximum's sister to denounce her faith, to denounce her moralistic values, and to conform to worshiping him, because Diocletian wanted you to bow down and worship him. And he was tearing up the scrolls and the writings. And he wanted our brothers and sisters to worship the pagan god Mars. And also there's a saint by the name of Sebastian. Okay, he also was killed by Diocletian. They used to shoot arrows at our brothers and the sisters because they wouldn't bow down to his agenda. And to let you know that Diocletian was a wicked, satanic, evil, so-called black man. You see? Not only were our ancestors suffered by the hands of the original Romans, but when Diocletian got an opportunity to reign temporarily, he went and turned around and did the same thing that the Romans was doing to our ancestors. The same way we're doing all kind of evil against each other in this 21st century. Now, it wasn't just Peter who was crucified and killed upside down. A lot of women of our nation also. They was humiliated. They was stripped. And they was nailed to a post upside down, just like Peter. As you see this picture here illustrating here today. Okay. Then you had another situation where you had this sister right here. Okay. She was hung up by her hair. You know how painful that is? With some type of cylinder block, okay, below her leg. Then you have this other sister that was hung upside down like a chicken, and they made this fire. They lit this fire under her to burn her up alive. You see? When we see situations like this, it's supposed to give us a change of thought, change of mind. It's supposed to make us humble and look at each other different and be more caring, more loving, more sharing, more forgiving. And when we go back to the brother Habakkuk time, he was complaining about this injustice. Habakkuk 1 and 3. He was asking the Almighty Father, why do you show me iniquity and wrong, and yourself look upon or cause me to see perverseness, as it still remains since today, and trouble? For destruction and violence are before me, just like the examples that we just gave you. And there is strife and contention arises. It was going on back there, and it's still being repeated here today. Contention in our household, contention between the woman and the man, contention between the parents and the children, contentions with your uncles, contention with your aunts, contentions with your niece and your nephews, contention with some of you Israelites that don't have no love in your heart. Contentions on top of contentions, contentions on the jobs, contentions on the train, contention on the street. 4th verse. Brother Habakkuk is complaining to the Most High, and in the 4th verse he states, therefore the Lord is slack. So he's telling the Most High, your Lord is slack, all this killing, all this martyring, all this rape, rob, and murder, and the law of righteousness is slack and not executed. And justice and righteous sentence never goeth forth. For the hostility of the wicked surrounds the uncompromisingly righteous. Therefore justice goeth forth perverted. So brother Habakkuk, he continues stating in the 2nd verse, and we know a lot of us feel like this inside. Almighty Father, how long shall I cry for help, and you will not hear, or cry out to you of violence, and you will not save, and take us out of this situation, and deliver us, and redeem us, and help us, and get us out of this situation. And I know that a lot of us can relate to how Habakkuk feels, because you get burnt out in this world. You get worn out in this world. But the Most High is still there. Nothing happens before its time. It seems like it will never end, but we got to hold on, maintain. Don't lose the faith. like it says in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 2, verse 10. Look at the generation of old, because there was generations before ours, and see there ever any trust in the Most High and was confounded. Look at Enoch. Or did any abide in his sphere and was forsaken? Look at what happened to Noah. Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? I mean, of course, to get the Most High's feedback, we got to fight to do what's right and to treat each other right. And we got to be patient and wait till the Most High respond. Like it says in Ecclesiastes chapter 2, let's read verse 11. And I know a lot of us are saying, is it ever going to end? Is it ever going to end? But we got to hang in there. We got to strengthen ourselves. Remember Harriet Tubman. Remember the ancestors that went before us. Remember what they went through. Remember their mindset. They held on. They kept strong. They kept firm. They kept pressing forward. Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 11. For the Most High is full of compassion, because the Most High is full of compassion. Because if the Most High would have judged us for everything we did against him, ain't none of us is supposed to be existing here today. Like it says in Lamentation 3:22, it's the Almighty Father's mercy that we are still alive. It's the Most High's compassion that we are still alive. For the Most High is full of compassion. And this compassion is that the Most High took us out of darkness. The Most High could have left us in darkness. And mercy, long suffering. This suffering, the Most High has a lot of patience. He had a lot of patience with us when we was being wicked. So let us show some patience towards him as well. And very pitiful. And forgive his sins. That's why we're still breathing and living. And saveth in the time of affliction. At his appointed time. The Most High don't work when we want him to work. But the Most High work accordingly to his schedule. In many cases. Here's another sister to remember. Her name is Saint Eulalia. 290-12 February 303. Code Patreon. Saint of Barcelona. She was 13 years old. She was a Hebrew, which they falsely call Roman Christian. She was a virgin. And she suffered the martyr at Barcelona. During the persecution of Christian in the reign of Emperor Diocletian. There goes that wicked Diocletian again. He ordered her death. And let's not forget about our sister Tabitha. That's recorded in the book of Luke, chapter 2, verse 36 and 37. She was married from her virginity. And her husband died, and she was a widow, roughly at the age of 44. And she served the Almighty Father with fasting, prayer, night and day. She was a Proverbs 31 woman. She was an honorable woman. She was a real role model. She was a respectable woman. Here's another saint by the name of Saint Faith. She was hauled before the Decian Procurator, which is a Roman official, at Agen, France, for her customs. Forget about the word Christianity during Diocletian's persecution of the Hebrews. She was then tortured to death for her customs, for her faith, for her lifestyle, for her integrity. Not Christianity, this is foolishness. For her customs on a red-hot brazier. Also executed with her was another sister by the name of Saint Alberta, March the 11th. When some of the spectators objected, the Decian had them beheaded. Yes, Saint Faith. There goes that wicked Diocletian once again. Here's another sister that we must remember. Saint Juliana of Nicomedia is said to have suffered Hebrew martyrdom during Diocletian persecution in 304. She was popular in the Middle Ages, especially in Netherlands, as the patron saint of sickness. You see? Saint Juliana. Persecuted, martyred for her customs by wicked satanic Diocletian once again. We can't forget about the sister and her 7 sons that's recorded in 2 Maccabees under the rulership of wicked Antioch, Epiphany the 4th, 2 Maccabees the 7th chapter. And it came to pass also the 7 brethren with their mothers were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine flesh and were tormented with scourges of whips. And one of the 7 brothers that came up and spoke to Antiochus Epiphanes IV, refusing to submit and to reject their customs. Okay, he was tormented badly. They cut out his tongue, and then they began to heat up this cauldron pot. Okay, in the 5th verse, now, when he was thus maimed, okay, in all his members, he commanded him, Antiochus Epiphanes IV, being yet alive, to be brought to the fire and to be fried in the pan. Like this picture here is illustrating what is described in the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 7, verse 5. And there were other situations where men of our nation suffered like this because of their faith, where they was tossed upside down into a hot cauldron pot full up with hot burning oil. Like this picture is illustrating here. Just like it states in the book of Matthew chapter 11 verse 12, since the days of John the Baptist unto now, the kingdom of heaven suffer violence, and violence take it by force. And this is that violence that Matthew chapter 11 and 12 is talking about. Here's another one of our sisters to be remembered. Her name was Saint Rifsime. 290 AD, she was a virgin, and she was martyred, who was put to death with a group of fellow virgins, and a lot of other virgin sisters died in Armenia, accordingly to her unreliable acts. She belonged to the community of virgins. This was an honorable sister under the direction of Guyana in Rome. Renowned for her extreme beauty, she was a beautiful princess. She was a virgin. She supposedly attracted the attention of Emperor Diocletian, the wicked devil. He wanted to have sex with her. He wanted to defile her and was forced to flee from Rome. She had to run away and get away from him with the other members of the community, with the other virgins, the other sisters. They ran to keep themselves chaste by not being defiled by this emperor demon who was wicked. They went first to Alexandria, which is in Egypt, and then settled in an area called Balar Shapat, where Rifsime's beauty again, it gained notice. Brought before King Tiridates, Rifsime refused the royal favors. Basically, he wanted to have sex with her, defile her, skeeze her out, and she was put to death by being roasted alive. Guyana and all of the others, maiden, except one sister called Christiana, were massacred by the Armenian soldiers. Christiana later became a missionary in Georgia. You see, we had some honorable sisters. She was a missionary. While it is certain that Rifsime and the virgins were martyred in Armenia. This is so sad, so sad. You see, that's why a lot of the prophets, they really cried and they really pleaded with the people to repent, change their ways, and stop doing what they were doing. Okay, when the Most High, during the time of Jeremiah's time, he allowed Babylon to punish our ancestors for all the evil things that they were doing. And even though they gave Jeremiah natural born hell, when the ball dropped, like it says in Lamentations chapter 3:48, Jeremiah stated that my eyes overflow with streams of tears because of the destruction of the daughters of my people. These were real brothers. These were real, genuine brothers, man. These brothers really cared about our people. They really loved Zion, man. Like it states in the book of Revelation chapter 6, verse 9. And when he opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of the Almighty Father, for the testimony which they had. 10th verse. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, Most High Creator, holy and true, do thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? And this is another sister that we must remember. Saint Theodora, 305 AD. She was a martyr in Rome. She was a wealthy woman, and she was of noble birth. She was a woman of integrity. She contributed freely of her fortune to ease the suffering, of the Hebrews during the persecution of the Emperor Diocletian. So she gave him some money to hoping that he would ease the persecution and stop tormenting our people. In 284 to 305, she died, perhaps by martyr, while the persecutions were still ongoing. But still, even though she gave Diocletian some money, hopefully that he was eased up, that demon just kept on persecuting and killing and destroying and tormenting our ancestors. You know, we got some wicked people among our nation too as well. Not only just the other nations. Diocletian was definitely John 8:44, the devil in 1 John chapter 3 verse 10. Here's another sister by the name of Saint Candida, 300 AD. She was martyred. She was a virgin. She used to live at Carthage, Northern Africa. She died under the persecution of Emperor Maximian. No, the devil Maximian. Here's another one of our ancestors too. Remember Saint Felix and Regula, 3rd century martyr, sisters, and they were brothers who fled to Switzerland during the persecution conducted by co-emperor Maximum, the devil. Once again, they were captured and martyred near Zurich. Saint Felix and Regula. So we want to close out with the prayer of Eleazar, who was the priest during the time that Zion was in captivity under Ptolemy IV. And this is found in what they call the Pseudepigrapha. Priest Eleazar under Ptolemy IV during the end of the Greek Empire, they prayed for Zion's condition because of their sufferation. They really loved the brothers and the sisters, men like Eleazar, men like Jeremiah, men like Enoch, and our sister Esther, and many more. The prayer of Eleazar the priest. He said, King great in power, most high, all-conquering power, who governs the whole creation with mercy, look upon the seed of Abraham, upon the children of Jacob, whom you sanctify, the people of your sanctified inheritance, who are perishing unjustly, as strangers in a strange land, Pharaoh, the former ruler of this Egypt, with his multitude of chariots, high and mighty in his lawless insolence and boastful tongue, you destroyed in the depths of the sea with his proud hosts. Father, causing the light of your mercy to shine upon the people of Israel. Sennacherib, the cruel king of Assyria. And here's the clay cylinder to confirm that Sennacherib was real. Dating from 686 BC confirms that Sennacherib received such tribute from Hezekiah, the Judean courtesy, the British Museum. And here's the archaeology cylinder confirming this situation is not a fable. 2 Kings 18:13-16, we read, in the 14th year of King Hezekiah, did Sennacherib, king of Assyria, come up against all the fenced city of Judea and took them. And Hezekiah gave him all the silver that was found in the house of the Most High, and cut off the gold from the doors of the temple of the Most High, and gave it to the king of Assyria. Let's continue with the prayer of Eleazar. How Eleazar, he reminds the Most High, even the Most High know how the Most High delivered us from past captivities such as Egypt, Sennacherib, the cruel king of the Assyrians, exalting in his countless hosts, when he had subjugated the whole earth by the spear and was lifted up against your holy city, uttering grievous words with boastfulness and insolence. You shattered, Most High, displayed your power openly to many nations, and the 3 comrades in Babylonia, who one of their own choice gave their life to the fire rather than serve the idols. You delivered unharmed to the very hairs of their heads, talking about Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, making the fiery furnace like dew, and set flames upon all their enemies, and went through the slanderous accusation brought against him out of envy. Daniel was thrown to the lions underground as food for beasts. You brought him up to the light unscathed. When Jonah was pinning away unpitied in the belly of the monster of the deep, you, Father, restored him uninjured to all his household. So now, you who hate insolence, full of mercy, protector of all, manifest yourself swiftly to those of the people of Israel who are outrageously entreated by the abominable and the lawless heathen. Now let's read a few of Clement's uplifting, encouraging statements Like I said before, you'll find the name Clement written in Philippians chapter 4, verse 3. And I exhort you too, my genuine yoke fellow, help those two women to keep on cooperating, for they have toiled along with me in the spreading of the good news, the gospel, as have Clement, as have Saint Clement, who was a disciple of Peter, as Philippians chapter 4 verse 3 records Clement's name. For the record, let's give you a little summary about Brother Clement. Clement was a disciple of Peter and has assigned to investigate and record and suffering and deeds of the martyrs. Clement has also written about the Hebrews' faith with the purpose of saving others. Because of these writings and of his ability to convert people back to the King of Victory, the Emperor Trajan exiled Clement to the wilderness near the city of Cherson across the Black Sea. It was here that Clement found about 2,000 Hebrews who had also been similarly condemned by the emperor. Brother Clement, he continued to convert unbelievers, and Clement's home in Rome was a gathering place for the brothers for the earliest of time, for the Hebrews who were labeled as Christians. Brother Clement gave our past ancestors a lot of spiritual advice. This is one of the letters that Saint Brother Clement wrote to the brothers in Corinthians, Greece, because there was a lot of conflict and strife going on. Not only did Paul write the brothers and sisters in Corinthian, Greece, but there was many other brothers like Saint Clement. Just like Brother Barnabas, who traveled with Paul, he has epistles too as well. Like I said before, the King James is only a fraction of the pieces of the puzzle. There's many other pieces to the puzzles, and this is one of the pieces of the puzzle which during the Nice Council, let's repeat again, 325 AD, Constantine and those wicked bishops, they suppressed the epistles of Clement, which he wrote to our brothers that was living in Greece, known as the Corinthians, because there was a lot of schism and confusion and immorality going on, and Clement was giving them a lot of spiritual sound advice. Like it says in 1 Clement chapter 20 and verse 27. This is recorded in what they called the other Bible. Clement said, "Let us therefore with all haste put an end to this sedition." Does that sound like anything negative? It sounds positive to me. "And let us fall down before the Most High and beseech Him." That's what we need to do. "With tears, that He would be favorably reconciled to us and restore us again to a seemly and holy course of brotherly love." Because there was a lot of schism and division back there. There was a lot of chaos going on during the time of Clement, in Greece, where the brothers and sisters that went under the name Corinthians dwell. So this is wise counsel. This is wise advice. This is beneficial towards us. Clement is just basically saying, let us put an end to this division, which we are experiencing right now, and to fall down before the Most High and beseech Him with tears to restore a good, holy, brotherly love again. It's not talking about voodoo or sorcery. It's talking about charity, love, affection. Let's read another testament of Clement. In 1 Clement chapter 21, verse 14, he asks us a question. Who is there among you that is generous? Yeah, who is generous among us? Who that is compassionate? Who is compassionate? Who is that has charity? Now this is the same exact thing that 1 Peter 4 and 8 is addressing, which states charity covered a multitudes of sin. Let him say, if this sedition, this contention, and these schisms be upon my account. So Clement is saying if these schisms and contentions is something that he created, something that he started, Clement is saying, I am ready to depart, to get away from this, to go away whithersoever you please, and do whatsoever ye shall command me to. He's ready to obey the right man and submit to the right counsel. Only let the flock talking about you and me and the brothers and sisters, be in peace with the elders that are set over it. Now that's back when you had shepherds, right shepherds, that was guiding the brothers and sisters in the right direction. Not no taskmaster and not no Bible pimp. Now let's read from the other epistle of St. Clement, chapter 1, verse 23. The advice that he sends out to the brothers during his time living in Greece. He says, let us receive correction. This is the same thing that's in 2 Timothy chapter 3:16, how the intelligence in the 16:11 is for reproof and correction. Let us receive correction, at which no man ought to repine, which means to mumble and grumble and fight and strive against what is right. Let us continue, verse 4. Brethren, the reproof and the correction which we exercise towards one another is good. It is good. And exceeding profitable, for it unites us the more closely to the will of the Most High. That's what reproof and correction does. It unites us. It teaches us to be brothers and sisters. It teaches us to respect each other. It teaches us not to strive against each other. It teaches us to be humble and meek. And it teaches us to be mature, intelligent, and civilized. For it unites us the more closely to the will of the Most High. What's the will of the Most High? Let brotherly love continue. Let brotherly love continue. Let sisterly love continue. Let brotherly love continue. Now let's read one of the epistles of Barnabas that was suppressed during the Nice Council, which is in what they call the other Bible, chapter 2, verse 13. Wherefore, brethren, we ought the more diligently to inquire after the things that belong to our salvation. Becoming a little child, those are the things that will grant us salvation, that the adversary, the spiritual demon, may not have an interest into us.
Early one Sunday morning, breakfast was on the table. There was no time to eat. She said to me, boy, hurry to Sunday school, filled with a Lord of glory. We learned the whole story. She'll always have her dreams, despite the things this troubled world can bring. Oh, say, don't you know we love you, sweet Sadie? Place no one above you, sweet Sadie. Well, living in the past. Sometimes it seems so funny, no money will turn your life around. Sweeter than cotton candy, stronger than Papa's old brandy. Always that needed smile. Once in a while, she would break down and cry. Sometimes she'd be so happy, being with us and Daddy, standing the worst of times, breaking the binds with just a simple song. Oh, Sadie Mae,
Don't you know
still loving us all in your special way. Well,
there's no one above you, sweet Sadie.
They was humiliated. They were stripped, and they was nailed to a post upside down, just like Peter.